My name is BHOOMI. Today I'll be reading a story named Shoorpanakha, Golden Eyes and Crimson Wounds. Tucked deep under a labyrinth of secret passages, under the crumbling satellite observation building in South India, or what was left of it. The lab wasn't supposed to exist. Not anymore. After the catastrophic accident of 2088, the time stream breach, Indian Institute of Temporal Engineering, IITE, was closed to the world. Research classified, access denied. But Arya was always drawn to things that most people feared as she made final adjustments to the calibration node of the unregistered chronoscopic interface unit. Power interface 80% and rising, she states into the recorder. Stabilizer holding, gravity within the threshold, timeline being adjusted. Everything stopped. No calming hums or beeps of the machine, even the static lights stopped flickering. The room was at a standstill. She was used to this silence. Obsession seldom brings you company. Her friends called her brilliant, professors called her dangerous, and her government, it could care less of a lunatic on a crack for making the impossible the new possible. But tonight, after years of secrecy and failed attempts, she was so close to her life's goal, to open a non-intrusive, view-only rift in time. This could potentially change the future and give new meaning to learning about the past. She had chosen the most debated part of Indian antiquity, the 13th year of exile of Lord Rama deep in the forest. Coordinates locked. Initiating anchor in sequence. She wanted to witness it. The moment it all began. The one that no one talks about in detail. The rage, the insult, the mutilation, the humiliation. The beginning of a war. Born from desire and rejection. A low hum began again. The machine glowed a flickering blue on its surroundings. A thin strand of light flickered and gave way to thick trees, intertwined branches. It kept moving, searching for her. A woman's voice, shrill, loud, angry, and ancient. Lakshmana! Arya's breath caught. She leaned forward. But something was wrong. The hum grew. The lights shimmered, twisted, buckled, and growing large. What? Wait! Control field. The chronoscope screeched. Sparks flew. The containment field failed. Boom! A loud, deafening sound resonated throughout. A blast of air knocked her away. The doors of the chronoscope were thrown open, wrapping the air around it. Something, no, someone was hurled through the rift. She could only watch helplessly as the body hit the ground hard. The lights blinked violently. The shimmer died down. The air shrouded with smoke and mystery and a sense of impending doom. Arya coughed and wheezed as she crawled to the figure. The woman slowly rose, hair tangled like roots, eyes glowing gold under the emergency lights. Her body was tall, strong, wrapped in the finest of silks. God, her face. Her nose was missing, blood dripping crimson down her lips. She snarled something. Arya could barely understand what she was mumbling. A lost language. So beautiful, so sweet like the forbidden fruit, right in front of her. All she could think, all that she could hear in her head was a loud voice that kept repeating one name, Shoorpanakha. Arya scrambled to her feet, ran across her lap, searching for a device that would help her talk to her. She rummaged through her drawers for the translator, knocking over everything. Shoorpanakha kept screaming in the background. The screams echoed off the walls, filled with pain, anger, terror. Finally, she found it. She took a cautious step towards Shoorpanakha. On her way, she grabbed the first aid box to perhaps help. She could only stare at the figure in front of her, the woman from the epic, now very much alive, real and bleeding, Shoorpanakha. She wasn't a grotesque caricature from the textbook or the scrolls. There was nothing monstrous about her. No claws, no talons, or a villainous laugh. All that stood there was a wounded woman. Her lips trembled from pain and fury, and her eyes burned for retribution. Arya gathered her senses. It was like approaching a wounded lioness. Tenderly, she touched Shoorpanakha's arm, drawing attention to herself. The older woman looked down at her and collapsed into a heap on the floor. Arya carefully brought her hands to her head, attaching the translator. She pulled the woman into her arms and slowly helped her up to a chair in the far corner of the room. "Where is he, Lakshmana? Where is this place?" she growled in a hoarse voice. Arya hoped the translator would convert her Hindi as accurately as possible to Sanskrit. "This is the future. Year 2094. I didn't mean to bring you here. It was an accident. I was just trying to observe your time. Just to observe." Shoorpanakha's hand flew up, but instead of striking, she put to her chest and slowly whispered, "I am Shoorpanakha, daughter of Visharava, sister of Ravana. I know who you are, but you have been misinterpreted." A bitter laugh escaped from Shoorpanakha. "I have been erased, you mean?" Arya finally said, "I can help you, but we need to be careful. You cannot be seen. It's not safe." She slowly nodded at her for permission to help her wound. The smell of antiseptic was strong as she slowly cleaned up the wound. "I was never safe. Not there, not here." "No," Arya said. "It's different now. Worse, they won't listen, only dissect you. They need answers." With shaking hands, Arya guided her to the other exit, towards her quarters. She left her to the cot and gave her the thermal blanket, some water, and nutrient bars to eat. As the woman sat, breathing heavily, still watching with weary eyes, Arya sat opposite her. "You're the first person I ever pulled through time," she whispered. She was still surprised about how calmly Shoorpanakha was taking to this new arrangement. She hoped she didn't curse her luck as of yet and prayed for her to listen. "You play with time like fire, little one," Shoorpanakha said. "What do you seek?" Arya looked up. "I don't know. I need this project to work. I needed to be recognized, to have a choice. Now, I'm not so sure if I have a purpose." "What do you want?" Shoorpanakha looked down at the floor, silent for a moment. "What I want is to be remembered. Not as a monster that was defeated, but as a woman, a sister, a voice that was never heard." "What do you want from me now?" she finally asked. "I don't need anything from you," Arya replied. "That's a lie, little one," Shoorpanakha said. "You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't want something." "Well then, will you tell me your truth?" Shoorpanakha looked up slowly, her mouth set in a tired line, contemplating something, straining to listen to a world that she could not reach anymore. "The truth. I don't know if you would like it. It's much different than whatever you have learnt." "I'll listen." A pause. Then slowly, a quiet whisper. "Do you know what my name means?" Arya nods. "Shoorpanakha, winnowing fan nails." A bitter laugh. "Wrong," she said coldly. "That's what I have been reduced to. That's what your poets sang after slicing my face. They silenced me after they turned me into a fable. My name is Meenakshi. Eyes like a fish. That's what my mother called me. That was what I was to my brothers. Before everything. Before I was made ashamed of my desires. I asked for a husband again. They called me a seductress. I defended my pride. I was called arrogant. Lakshmana mutilated me, and I was laughed at. Their wives never spoke about it. Their gods never raised a voice against it. All of them were silent. It was never about a nose. It was about what a woman could ask for and be denied a choice she can make about who gets to write the final prose. There was a silence, not empty but full, with everything that was said and left unsaid. Everything I know about you, everything I heard, read, all of it was a lie. Not a lie, little one, she said. Just a version of it. History and justice tend to serve the version that is the victor. Arya closed her eyes, unsure of the tears in her eyes. She was livid now. Nobody deserves that, she wanted to say. She wanted to give reassurance of what she did not know. All she could think was how she could right this wrong. The woman before her was not a myth, not a demoness, not a cautionary tale told to scare the kids. She was a survivor of time. It's been a few days of comfortable silence. Arya trying to salvage her lab and figure out a way to help Shoorpanakha. But weird things have started happening. At first, it was small things. She noticed her AI library glitching when she searched for Ramayana, the standard, state-approved epic, digitalized centuries ago, now displayed a corrupted scroll. Instead of Shoorpanakha, the demoness that lusted after Rama, the AI text-to-speech stammered. Shoorpanakha, the daughter of Kaikesi, known as Meenakshi, bearer of wisdom, voice of Arya froze. The machine stuttered, then stopped, then reset. The corrupted line vanished, replaced by the same old narrative that she was familiar with. Her heart beats thunderous in her ears, hands trembling, breath hitched. She knew history was rewriting itself. She shut down the console and rushed back to her room. Shoorpanakha was standing, eyes closed. "What are you doing?" Arya asked, voice sharper than she intended. "I'm merely existing." "No, something is wrong," Arya said. "My existence bends the tail," Shoorpanakha replied as a matter of fact. Arya's stomach sank. "You mean your existence in this time now is changing the record?" "But you already knew that, little one," Shoorpanakha gave a dry laugh. "Do you know how fragile your stories are, girl? Written by men, sung by priests. You bring me here, pull me out of there. The grip of the narratives slip. The threads unravel faster than you can imagine. The river changes course." Arya thought of every temporal law in this world that was drilled into her as a student. Temporal safety acts. Do not touch the stream. Do not move the stone. A small ripple becomes a flood if you mess with time. Arya typed furiously, overriding all fail-safes. Her console blared rapidly now. With a final keystroke, Arya put her hand down. She had done it. The chronoscope roared to life once again. Space ripped open once again. A luminous fracture. Shoorpanakha took one last step towards the light, then turned back to Arya with the softest look of tender love, understanding, and above all, respect. "History does not deserve me," she said. "But you, my little one, you might." And with that, she stepped into the light. A loud boom, a blast. Shoorpanakha's name lingered differently now, no longer just the demoness with claws. She was Meenakshi, daughter of the sages, wounded but unbroken. Another painted her not as a temptress, but as a silenced voice of the forest, demanding dignity. The ripple had begun. Thank you.